Today's Maya Angelou poem is a little dark, but I still thought it was beautiful, so I wanted to read it. It's called The Last Decision. The print is too small, distressing me, wavering black things on the page, wriggling pollywogs all about. I know it's my age, I'll have to give up reading. The food is too rich, revolting me. I swallow it hot or force it down cold and wait all day as it sits in my throat. Tired as I am, I know I've grown old. I'll have to give up eating. My children's concerns are tiring me. They stand at my bed and move their lips, and I cannot hear one single word. I'd rather give up listening. Life is too busy wearying me. Questions and answers and heavy thought. I've subtracted and added and multiplied, and all my figuring has come to naught. Today I'll give up living. Hey Booktube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March. Yes, that poem was a little dark. I still thought there's so much poignancy and beauty to it, so it really struck me and I wanted to read it. What is today's video about? How do you figure out who to watch on Booktube? Who should you subscribe to? And this idea came to me from a friend and a commenter, Marcia or Johansson. Marcia, correct me in your pronunciation, please. Marcia's a longtime viewer, subscriber, commenter, friend. She is a wonderfully warm, kind woman, and I'm very happy to count her as a friend and a subscriber. And she wrote a comment to me in my last video. How do you find people to subscribe to, and how do you figure out which ones are good for you? And I thought, that is such a great question. I'm going to make a video out of that. I am stealing video ideas all over the place. So let's talk about this. So this is going to be, I'm not going to hold up any books today. No books. I'm going to hold up one book. I had another commenter ask me, or say to me that I had once recommended a certain version of Middlemarch to read, and they really appreciated it. So did I have any specific versions of Maya Angelou's work to recommend? And I would also direct you to Marilyn Maya Mendoza's channel to see her tribute to Maya Angelou. But this is the poetry book I've been reading from, Maya Angelou, The Complete Poetry. And it's a beautiful book, hardcover with deckled edges, but it has everything in here. And this is a great place to start, a great place to pick up poems from, and finding some real beauty in that volume. So how do you figure out who to subscribe to? How do you figure out who to watch? We all have such a limited amount of time in our days, don't we? And some of us are still working full time, me included. Some of us have children at home, have families, have obligations that take up a lot of time. So a lot of us don't have the amount of time that we want to have to watch our Booktube friends. So where do we find great channels that'll work for us? How did I find some of my channels when I first discovered Booktube? Now, I'm going to go back in time, and for any of you who are new, I'm certain you don't know this about me or you never heard it from me yet, but I was watching Booktube for about a year before I started a channel. And my youngest daughter, Clara, who was probably 12 or 13 at the time, said to me, "Mom, do you know there's YouTube channels on just about books?" And I was dumbfounded. I'm like, what? I've never heard of such a thing. She said, yeah, there are people doing YouTube videos just about books. And so I started to dig into it. My first subscriptions were to young adult booktubers. And I thought at the time, these are so much fun. I love the look of these channels. The books they're reading look so fun. The colors, the production quality, everything. I absolutely loved all the videos. Very quickly, I realized these are not my book choices. These are not the booktubers that I would choose to watch most often. I don't have anything in common with young adult booktubers, or almost nothing in common with them. And the books that they're reading, many of them were high fantasy or contemporary romance. And fantasy I love, but a lot of the new-ish fantasy novels are basically geared towards the young adult reader, and that's certainly not me. I am an adult, but I am certainly far from young. So I very slowly kind of started tapering myself off of the young adult booktubers, and then I thought, well, where am I going to go now? Who am I going to watch? And I literally punched into YouTube adult booktubers. And I came upon a video, and I don't remember who, but search for adult booktubers in YouTube. And I found a video of a young woman who was listing a lot of channels who were adults. And I started there, and I found a few that I really liked. And it's like a ripple effect. Once you find a one or a few, you start looking into who they're subscribed to. And you can find that out many times if you're on a desktop computer or a laptop. There is a tab where you can find who they're subscribed to and all the different channels. And I went there and I found so many booktubers that I loved. In the beginning, it does take a little bit of time because you're going to want to click into each channel and find out what kind of books do they like. Do they have the same taste as me? I want to know how old they are. Why does age matter? Age matters because of taste, because of life experience. So many, if not most, of the adult booktubers that I subscribed to at the time were very similar to me. They liked the same types of books as me. They read the same books that I had. And if you're looking at booktubers videos, and any of us who sit in front of bookcases, one of the best ways to determine if a booktuber likes the same books as you is to see if you can recognize any of the books in their shelves behind them. And I can't tell you how many booktubers I have done that with, where I gravitate towards the ones that are sitting in front of shelves filled with books. And then a lot of times I lose my focus on the booktuber because I'm looking at all of the shelves to see, do I recognize any of those spines? Would I read any of those books? And so it's really helpful when people sit in front of books. And there are booktubers who I've discovered because I've read the spines, but their bookcases are filled, or they're double stacked, or there are precarious piles balanced in back of them. Those are the super fun ones, because then I'm like, I'm contorting myself to see the books on the high shelves and then the piles below them. Like, are those going to fall over? So it's been super fun to do that. A lot of booktubers will have the same type of video quality that I do. I'm not super fancy. I don't have a special camera. I don't put a lot of special effects into my videos. I basically just try to have the best lighting and sit in front of my camera and talk. So I typically naturally gravitate towards similar booktubers with the same type of style. I don't really care about the high production quality or the special effects. I'm looking for a conversation with somebody about books. And that's kind of what my personality is like. The biggest special effect I've ever done is once in a while I'll do a vlog video, and there are so many booktubers out there who do those far better than me, and some of them are my favorite booktubers. So, how else do I find them? When I watch booktubers who I know I love, so many times they've recommended other channels, and I look for that because it's generous when booktubers have done that for me, when they've called out my channel. Way back in the beginning when I first started making videos, so many booktubers listed my channel to go and watch. And I had so many huge jumps in subscriptions based on somebody else recommending me. So go to your favorite booktubers channels and find out if they're recommending any booktubers. Or look in their description box, because booktubers who do call out other booktubers should be listing their channels in the description box, because what that does is two things. First of all, it triggers that booktuber to know that somebody mentioned them. And if they get a jump in subscribers, that's probably why. The second thing it does is it gives a viewer the chance to open the description box to find out, did you mention any other booktubers? And maybe I can go and find them to see if I would like them too. So those are some really good ideas or ways to find other booktubers. If you are a creator, one of the easiest ways to find other booktubers is in your comment section, because a lot of other booktubers, especially new ones, if you're a new booktuber, take this piece of advice. Comment in other booktubers' channels, because your channel name will come up. And if you have a channel and you're a creator, the booktuber whose channel you're commenting on will go and look at your channel, and so on and so on. And the ripples keep going and going and going. So do that as well. If you're reading the comment section in one of your favorite Booktubers channels, you'll see other Booktubers making comments. So you can follow down and hunt down their channels. What are some other ways to do it? Don't discount the algorithm, the super secret mystery algorithm that I don't even want to begin to know how it works. And I'm afraid of it. I'm like, what is this algorithm watching me do? How is it tracking me throughout my life? Because no matter what computer I sign on to, it knows me. It knows my tastes, my likes, and my dislikes. In YouTube, the more videos that you watch, the more Booktubers you watch of a certain ilk or a certain type, YouTube's algorithm tracks you, and it will track which channels you're watching. And so it will suggest other channels. So don't just automatically go to your subscription section when you're watching BookTube, but look at what YouTube is recommending to you, because it will know you. It will start to predict the things that you will like, and it will suggest things for you. If you do that, let me know. And if it creeps you out like it creeps me out, I can't help it. It creeps me out. What else? If you're an Instagrammer, I was on Instagram for a little while, but I signed off of it. It was taking up too much of my time, and I couldn't keep up with BookTube and Instagram. And it was just too much for me. And there's some amazing Booktubers who have Instagram channels as well. And those are also great places to find other Booktubers. And even if you're viewing on Instagram, if you do hashtags, if you look for hashtags, hashtag Bookstagrammer, hashtag Booktuber on Instagram, you will find an enormous amount of channels that you can then see, do they have BookTube channels that I can watch? So there's a lot of very creative ways to find some of the best channels to subscribe to. Again, I have found my favorites through other channels, through looking at the channels they're subscribed to, looking at who's commenting on their videos. And I've gone from there, and I've discovered so many people. Now, what about channels that you may not have a lot in common with? Should you subscribe to them? Absolutely you should. Why should you? Because I have met so many wonderful Booktubers, wonderful people I'm friends with, whose channels are not the same as mine. They have different taste, or their channel looks different, or they're a lot more prolific in their content, and possibly a lot more snazzy in their video quality. But they are amazing people, and I'm going to name a couple only to give you some examples. Olly. I don't read crime. I don't read pulp. I don't read the vast majority of the books he reads, but I love his style. I love his way of speaking about books. I love his presentation, and he's a fantastic Booktuber. MJ from Reading This Life. Once in a while we have a book in common, or once in a while we have an author that we both really like. But again, our reading tastes are pretty different. However, she is fantastic. She is hosting a banned book read-along in September for a Crown of Thorns and Roses, which I will be reading. It is right here. I lied before. I'm going to show another book. We're reading this book in September because it's a banned book in high schools across the country in the U.S. But MJ is she's lively. She is a writer. She is enthusiastic. She is so encouraging that she's so fun to watch. Who else? One of my favorite channels, I'm going to name another one, is Heidi from My Reading Life. Heidi is primarily a nonfiction reader, and she's a scientist, and she loves science writing and nature writing. I have some things in common with Heidi, but we're probably 50-50, and we often do like the same novels because I primarily read fiction. I have to say, some of my favorite nonfiction I've gotten from Heidi's channel, and she's an incredible reader and recommender. She is one of the warmest people, most intelligent, lovely people on BookTube, and I kind of ended up going to her channel when I wanted to find some really good nonfiction books to read. One of my favorite international feminist Booktubers is Britta, at The Second Shelf or Britta Bowler. Britta I found very early on, and I don't remember how, but she was one of the first adult booktubers who I found very early on and actually reached out to. And she just kind of pulled me in right away. And I think my first buddy read was with Britta, and it was so much fun. She's so easy to talk to, and we just had so much in common, and our friendship has just grown from there. Brian at Bookish, the Bookish Texan, I think we're the exact same ages. I think we're at least very close in age. He lives in Texas. He's a retired school teacher. He's a writer, a history writer. He is extremely political, and he posts a lot of videos about his opinions on politics, on the state of our country, on social issues. I don't tend to do that, nor do I tend to watch a lot of content of those types of things. I read my news, I don't watch it, and I take maybe 10 minutes a day to read the news to know what's happening. So a lot of Brian's content is stuff I wouldn't even normally talk about with somebody. But I love his presentation. I love his personality. We have had some books in common and we've done buddy reads together too. And he's wonderful to talk to, very intelligent, warm, wonderful man. And it's been great. And we've talked outside of BookTube and have a great thing going. Who else? One of the booktubers I met in person is AJ Dunn, and their channel is AJ Dunn now. It used to be AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. AJ and I met in Woodstock, Vermont a couple of years ago, and we had the best time, the best day, hanging out, book shopping, talking, going out for lunch. We went to the Quechee Gorge in Woodstock, which is gorgeous. They made me walk up a hill where I didn't know how high it was going to be. My legs were killing me. I'm far older than they are, and it was a little bit of a funny situation. But we had a blast, and it was so easy to talk to AJ and just hang out and have a good time with each other. I met Heidi in person as well, and my other BookTube friend who I met in person is Karen at Roving Reader. She came with her mom to visit Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I live very close to there, and we met there and spent the day together. We toured Strawberry Bank, we went book shopping, we had food, and again, these are some of the best people, Teresa and Karen. What a lovely day, and we just got to talk and just enjoy each other's company. That is probably one of the best things about being on BookTube, is having the opportunity to meet and to meet up. And even I have commenters and subscribers who we've talked at length about meeting and just being able to give each other a hug in person and have a day together and buy books and eat food and all of that. BookTube has changed my life drastically in so many wonderful, profound ways that I wouldn't give it back for the world. And those are my thoughts on forming BookTube relationships, finding the best channels. Marcia, I hope this helped. I hope you got something out of this video, and this was inspired by you, so thank you so much for giving me a fantastic content idea. Follow those booktubers down from my description box down below. I am going to go on my channel and make sure that you can see the channels that I'm subscribed to, so follow those links. Not every channel is a book channel, but the vast majority of them are. Some of them are no longer creating content, but so many of them are. So go and take a look. I will, again, double check that you can find those through my channel page on your desktop or your laptop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.